Hello, everyone. Tonight we are going all the way back. I want you to think for a moment about how you're sitting or lying down right now. Maybe you're slouched on the couch or curled up in bed. It feels natural, comfortable. Now imagine that the simple act of standing upright is a new and revolutionary technology, a biological gamble that your entire species is betting its future on. The world we're visiting tonight at the Pliocene of Africa is the stage for that gamble. It's a world filled with saber-toothed cats, giant hyenas, and crocodiles the size of cars. Everything is bigger than you, faster than you, and wants to eat you. To be blunt, you probably won't survive this. The odds are so infinitesimally small that your specific lineage will make it's a statistical absurdity. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you really enjoy what I do here. Go ahead and post your location and what time it is for you in the comments below. It's always fascinating to see where everyone is tuning in from. Now turn off the lights, maybe turn on the fan for some soothing noise, and let's embark on tonight's journey together. The world is a terrifying open space, and you are a testament to terrible posture. Your back hurts. It's a dull, persistent ache deep in your lumbar region, a consequence of a brand new and still buggy skeletal architecture. You are an Australopithecus afarensis, and you are one of the first creatures on this planet to try and make a living walking on two legs. It is not as glamorous as it sounds. Your gait is a clumsy bent knee, bent hip shuffle, a rolling motion that saves some energy but wins you absolutely no points for style. Your brain, all 400 cubic centimeters of it, is mostly occupied with the twin imperatives of finding food and not becoming food, but a small part of it is constantly dedicated to just not falling over. You stand at the edge of a woodland looking out over the savanna of the Great Rift Valley in what will one day be called Ethiopia. The landscape is a mosaic of greens and golds under a vast, indifferent blue sky. In the distance, the volcanic mountains that forge this very valley occasionally smoke and grumble, reminding you that the world itself is still under construction. Your world is one of verticality. Your long arms, a clear inheritance from your tree-dwelling ancestors, still crave the security of a branch. Your fingers are long and curved, perfect for gripping. Your feet, however, are a confused mess, an unhappy compromise between a grasping hand and a supportive platform, complete with a big toe that hasn't quite made up its mind to get in line with the others. Scientists of a distant future will argue endlessly about why your kind stood up. Was it to see over the tall savanna grass to spot predators before they spotted you? Was it to free up your hands to carry food back to your family, a crucial step in social development? Or was it a simple matter of thermodynamics, a way to expose less of your body to the brutal African sun and to catch more of the cooling breezes? You don't know the why. You just live the reality. You can indeed see a little further than your four-legged neighbors, but you are also achingly slow, a tempting upright snack for any number of fleet-footed carnivores. Your hands are free, which is nice though. Mostly you just use them to carry slightly more useless stuff from one place to another. 2. You are small, barely over a meter tall, and your body shape is unique. Unlike the barrel-chested primates to come, your rib cage is shaped like a cone flaring out at the bottom. This isn't a fashion statement, it's a biological necessity. It makes room for a massive gut, an impressive digestive factory, needed to process the huge quantities of tough, low-quality plant matter roots, seeds, leaves, and the occasional insect that make up your diet. That pot belly isn't a sign of indulgence. It's your primary survival tool. As you shuffle along a dry riverbed, your flat feet leaving prints in the damp volcanic ash left over from a recent eruption, you are oblivious to the legacy you are creating. Millions of years from now in 1974, a team of curious bipedal apes will be scouring this very landscape. One of them, Donald Johanson, will spot a tiny fragment of an arm bone. This discovery will lead them to unearth 47 fossilized bones of a single individual from your species, one of your kin. They will call her Lucy. They will study her skeleton, her pelvis, her knee joints, and they will confirm what you are living, that your kind walked upright on the earth. Your momentary passage through this dusty wash will become a cornerstone of their entire understanding of their own origins. For now, you are just hungry. You scan the horizon, your senses on high alert. Your eyesight is good, your hearing is sharp, but your greatest disadvantage is your lack of weaponry. You have no great claws, no saber teeth, no terrifying speed. Your only real advantages are your moderately large brain and your tight-knit social group. You are not alone. There are about a dozen others in your group, a small family of males, females, and young. Together you forage, you watch each other's backs, and you climb into the relative safety of the trees at night. It is a life lived on the knife's edge between endurance and annihilation, the first uncertain steps of a journey that will, against all odds, change the world forever. Your social group is your only true defense in a world that views you as a slow-moving meal. The food pyramid here in the Great Rift Valley is less of a pyramid and more of a tall, pointy spike with your species clinging precariously to the side, just above the insects and lizards. Every day is a masterclass in vigilance, a series of risk calculations performed by a brain that is only just beginning to grasp the concept of consequences. Your survival strategy is a finely tuned technique known as strategic cowardice, which mostly involves being somewhere else whenever anything interesting happens and climbing a tree at the first sign of trouble. The problem is trouble is everywhere. You are constantly being watched. As your group forages for roots and fallen fruit at the edge of the savanna, you catch a flicker of movement in the tall golden grass. It is a Dinophilis, a false saber-toothed cat. Scientists of the future will debate the semantics of its dentition. Its canines were flatter and stabbier than the knife-like fangs of its more famous cousins, making it more of a dagger-toothed cat, really. But you don't care about the taxonomy. You just know it is a powerfully built ambush predator with a particular fondness for hunting primates. The entire group freezes, a silent telepathic signal passing between you. You slowly back away, moving inch by agonizing inch toward the safety of the nearest acacia tree, your long arms and grasping feet suddenly feeling like the most sensible technology in the world. The cat watches, then loses interest, turning its attention to a lone lumbering herbivore instead. You've survived this time by being uninteresting and close to a tree. The nights are no safer. Your group sleeps in the high branches, a tangled mess of hairy limbs and pot-bellied bodies listening to the symphony of death below. The whooping calls of the giant hyenas, Pachikrokuta, echo through the darkness. These are not the skulking scavengers of the modern world. They are massive, bone-crushing predators as large as a modern lioness, and they hunt in formidable packs. You listen to their hunt, the sounds of pursuit and struggle, and you are grateful for the height and the flimsy security of your branch. Even the water, the source of all life, is a place of extreme danger. You learn very quickly that the water itself is safe, but the 10 feet of land surrounding it is the get-eaten zone. As your group approaches a muddy river to drink, you are intensely cautious. The log basking on the far bank is not a log. It is Crocodilus thorbjarnarsoni, a giant crocodile that makes its modern relatives look like handbag accessories. It is waiting. Your group spreads out some keeping watch while others take quick nervous sips. There is no lingering, no playful splashing. You drink and you leave your heart hammering until you are a safe distance away. The academic debate about your lifestyle, whether you were a true savanna dweller or still deeply tied to the woodlands, seems absurd from your perspective. You live the answer every day. The savanna is where the food is, but the trees are where you don't get eaten. You are a commuter traveling nervously between the dangerous restaurant of the open plains and the relative safety of your arboreal home. This constant back and forth between two worlds is the central defining tension of your existence. The threat isn't just from below, it comes from the sky. One afternoon, a shadow passes over you. A crowned eagle, massive and majestic, circles overhead. Your group instinctively gathers the youngest members, pulling them close. You know this danger intimately. Not long ago, you saw one of these great birds dive from the sky and take a young one from another group, its powerful talons piercing the small skull. It was a swift, shocking, vertical death. In a few million years, the fossilized skull of a child from a related species, the Tong child Nendi, will be discovered in a South African cave. Paleontologists will notice two small, perfectly placed puncture marks in its eye sockets, and after much debate, they will realize they match the talons of just such an eagle. The child was not murdered by another hominin, it was prey. The fossil record will bear a permanent scar of the fear you feel now as you watch the eagle, hoping it decides you are all too large and too much trouble today. You stare at the sky until the great bird soars away, and only then does the group relax, the ever-present fear receding from a sharp spike back to its normal ambient hum. Hundreds of thousands of years stream by like water in a river. Your lineage persists, clinging to the woodlands and savannas, surviving on strategic cowardice and the strength of your small family groups. But the world is changing, the climate is shifting, and the pressure to adapt is a relentless, grinding force. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, a new kind of being emerges from your ancestral line. You are one of them. You are taller now, your legs a little longer, your shuffling gait slightly more efficient. Your face is a bit flatter, your jaw less pronounced. Most importantly, the brain inside your skull has expanded, a crucial extra 100 cubic centimeters of processing power humming away, looking for new solutions to old problems. You are Homo habilis, the handyman, and you are about to have a very good idea. The idea is born not from genius, but from frustration. Your group has found the sun-bleached carcass of an antelope slain hours earlier by a Dinophilis that has already eaten its fill and departed. The tough hide has defeated your teeth and fingernails. You can smell the rich meat underneath, but you cannot get to it. In a fit of pique, you pick up a smooth, rounded cobblestone and hurl it at the carcass, accomplishing nothing. You pick it up again and smash it against a larger rock outcropping, perhaps intending to vent your anger. The cobblestone doesn't just bounce off. It splits, shearing away a large crescent-shaped piece, a flake. You stare at the two pieces in your hands. The original stone, the core, now has a sharp, angular ridge where the flake broke away. The flake itself is even better. One side is smooth and fits comfortably in your palm, but the other edge is as sharp as an obsidian splinter honed to a razor edge by the physics of the conchoidal fracture. You run your thumb over it carefully, and a tiny bead of your own blood wells up. It's a small moment of pain, but a monumental revelation. You have made a thing that can cut. This sharp rock is the single greatest technological leap your people have ever made. It's the Pliocene equivalent of getting fiber optic internet. The place where you make this discovery is a familiar one, a gorge with a seasonal river, a place rich in stones and animal life. Much later, it will be named Olduvai Gorge, and it will become a treasure trove for a family of paleontologists called the Leakeys. In the 1960s, they will unearth the fossilized remains of your kind, here scattered amongst a profusion of these very same tools, simple cores and sharp flakes. They will name the Oldowan industry. Your bones and your invention will one day be used to define the very beginning of the human story. You instinctively pick up the core stone in your left hand and another hammerstone in your right, striking it again to remove another flake. You don't know it, but this simple preference for your right hand is evidence of a profound change in your brain. Its two hemispheres have begun to specialize, a lateralization that is the foundation for future developments like language and complex planning. Congratulations, you're contributing to a data set for a PhD thesis in 2.5 million years. Of course, future scientists will argue about this moment. They will debate who truly made the first tools. Were your pot-bellied Australopithecus ancestors the true inventors? After all, the oldest known tools found at a place called Lomekwi predate the first confirmed fossils of your species. Perhaps they had the same idea in a rougher, more primitive form. But you, Homo habilis, are the one to perfect it, to standardize it, to make it the central, defining feature of your culture. You are the one who turns a broken rock into a toolkit. You carry your precious new flake over to the antelope carcass. Crouching down, you grip it firmly and saw at the tough hide. It works. The edge slices through the skin with a satisfying tearing sound, opening it up to the rich red meat below. You have just bypassed the limitations of your own biology. You have used your mind to create a solution that your body could not provide. You've just invented the world's first kitchen knife emergency weapon and regrettable tattoo implement all in one. The possibilities are endless, and mostly they are about to change everything. You have a newfound sharpness, and the world is about to feel your edge. The sharp flake has given you access to the meat, a precious and rare resource. You and your small group tear at the antelope carcass with your new tools and your bare hands, a frantic, bloody feast. You are constantly looking over your shoulder, your ears straining for the sound of approaching predators. The original killer could return, or worse, a pack of giant hyenas could be drawn by the scent of the kill. Your group's motto is effectively, let someone else do the hard work. You're not hunters, not yet. You're just very, very good at showing up late to the party and eating the best leftovers. This high-risk behavior is at the center of a long-running academic debate. Were you the brave hunter or the marginal scavenger? The cut marks your stone tools leave on these bones, which future scientists will find preserved under the tooth marks of other predators, will become a key piece of evidence that you were in fact an ingenious freeloader. After the meat has been stripped, the real prize remains the bones. You pick up a long, heavy leg bone. It is dense and unyielding. But your recent breakthrough with the stones has rewired your brain. You no longer see the world as just a collection of existing things. You see it as a collection of raw materials. You take the heavy, blunt, coarse stone you used to create the flake, your first chopper, and with a two-handed grip, you bring it down hard on the middle of the leg bone. The sound is a sharp, satisfying crack that echoes in the quiet air. The bone splits open, revealing a waxy, pinkish-white substance lining the hollow cavity. It is marrow. Driven by curiosity and hunger, you use your finger to scoop some out. You taste it. It's oily, rich, fatty, and utterly delicious. It is without a doubt the most energy-dense food you have ever eaten. It is a prehistoric superfood, a primitive energy drink, and you have just discovered how to unlock it. This momentous discovery is as important as the sharp flake itself. This is the fuel that will allow your energy-hungry brain to grow, to forge new connections, to become something more. This quest for a high-density energy source to fuel a developing society will be repeated much later in your lineage's history. In the 19th century, industrializing nations will launch vast fleets of ships to hunt whales across the globe. They weren't just after the meat. They were after the oil, the rendered blubber that lit their cities and lubricated their machines. Your discovery of marrow is the Pleistocene equivalent. You have found the fuel source that will power the engine of human evolution. Now your scavenging strategy has a new focus. Meat is good, but marrow is better. It's protected from the elements and from rot for longer, and it's locked away behind a wall of bone that few creatures can get through. Few, but not none. By becoming a bone breaker, you have now entered into direct competition with one of the most formidable creatures on the savanna, the giant hyena, Pachyrhina. You have seen their work. You know they can reduce an entire skeleton to splinters with their powerful jaws. Their fossilized droppings or coprolites will one day be found packed with so much powdered bone that they are chalky and white. You have just figured out how to get the prize out of the center of the bone. The bad news is the bone-crushing hyenas think that prize belongs to them. This is going to lead to some very awkward and very dangerous conversations at future carcasses. For now, the prize is yours. Your small group works as a team. Some stand guard, their heads up, scanning the horizon for danger. Others, like you, become specialists in demolition, using hammerstones and choppers to systematically break every long bone in the skeleton, extracting every last gram of precious marrow. You are no longer just surviving on tough roots and the occasional grub. You have unlocked the caloric jackpot hidden inside every skeleton on the savannah. You have become a power scavenger. Your hands, freed by bipedalism, are now armed with technology, and your brain, fueled by this new rich diet, is buzzing with potential. The age of the handyman has truly begun. The marrow and meat are a treasure, but a perishable and dangerous one. You cannot stay at the kill site for long. The scent will draw every predator for miles. Your small clan works with frantic efficiency with you and the other handymen, using your sharp flakes to butcher the carcass, cutting away manageable portions of meat, and most importantly, gathering the precious unbroken bones. Then, laden with your bounty, you retreat to a safer location. This brings up a question that will one day be fiercely debated by paleontologists. What exactly was your home life? Like, did you have a true home base, a camp you returned to each night, or were the sites future scientists find littered with tools and bones, simply processing stations, dangerous temporary butcheries abandoned at dusk? The truth is a compromise born of necessity. Your group has a favored place, a grove of acacia and fig trees near a reliable stream that also has an abundance of good quality tool-making stones. This is your safe haven. You don't live on the ground here; that would be suicide. You live in the trees, climbing into their sheltering branches as darkness falls. But the clearing below is your workshop, your social club, and your dining room. It is here that the second crucial phase of your new lifestyle unfolds: sharing. You all gather as the afternoon sun cools, dropping the haunches of meat and the heavy marrow bones onto the dusty ground. The dominant male of your small group asserts his right to the choicest pieces, but there is no outright violence. An intricate system of sharing, begging, and tolerated theft plays out. Your status in the group is directly proportional to your ability to find dead things and smash their bones open. It's a brutal meritocracy with a very specific and newly acquired skill set. You watch as a juvenile, having observed you for weeks, clumsily tries to make his own tool, smashing a cobblestone and sending a sharp shard flying that nearly takes your eye out. Teaching the next generation is vital, but also hazardous. This act of bringing back high-value food to a central place and sharing it is a monumental leap in social evolution. It is the simple ancient root of a behavior that will define your descendants. Thousands of years in the future, the indigenous peoples of North America's Pacific Northwest will practice the potlatch, a complex ceremony involving massive feasts and the giving away of wealth to affirm status and reinforce social ties. Your simple, pragmatic sharing of scavenged marrow is the first rung on that long ladder. The discovery that giving away food can be as powerful a survival strategy as eating it yourself. Communication is the glue that holds your small society together. You don't have language, not in the way your far future descendants will, but you are not silent. Endocasts of your species' skulls will show a distinct bulge in Broca's area, the part of the brain associated with speech production. The wiring is being installed even if the software is still in early alpha. You communicate with a complex system of grunts, hoots, gestures, and what could charitably be called interpretive dance. It's not Shakespeare, but it gets the point across, especially when the point is saber-toothed, cat 9 o'clock, or don't bogart all the tibia marrow. After the meal, the social grooming begins. It's a crucial activity reinforcing bonds, calming tensions, and keeping parasites in check. You sit close to another female, your trusted ally in foraging, and meticulously pick through her coarse hair, your long fingers adept at the task. This is the quiet rhythm of your community, the high-stress, high-risk acquisition of food, out on the savanna followed by the low-stress, high-reward processing and sharing of it in the relative safety of your chosen spot. You are bound together by mutual need, by the shared danger of the world outside, and by the revolutionary technology of the sharp stone, which is not just a tool for butchery, but a tool for building a new kind of society. The world turns, the climate shifts, and the handy man with his simple tools and scavenged meals gives way to a new, more formidable hominin. The generations stack up like layers of sediment, and your kind is transformed. You are Homo erectus. The upright man, and you wear your name with an effortless grace your ancestors never knew. You are tall, over 5 feet, with long, powerful legs and short arms. The last vestiges of a tree-climbing life are gone. You are a creature of the plains, a long-distance walker, a marathon runner. Your brain has grown again, now approaching 1,000 cubic centimeters. You have traded in the old model for a new one. This version has better fuel efficiency, a bigger computer, and finally loses the ancestral potbelly in favor of a narrow waist and a barrel-shaped chest. You are a lean, mean walking machine, and for the first time, your kind is ready to see what's over the next hill. And the hill after that, and the one after that. This is the beginning of the great expansion, the first time your lineage will leave its African cradle. It is not a single grand expedition. It is a slow, multi-generational drift, a spilling out across the landscape. Your family isn't migrating with a plan. It's more of a slow-motion road trip with no map where every stop has potentially lethal local cuisine, and the locals are even more lethal. The reasons for this migration will be debated for millennia by your descendants. Was it a new spark of curiosity born from your larger brain? Was it a response to climate shifts that altered your environment? Or was it simply a matter of diet? Having become reliant on following the great herds of grazing animals for your scavenged meals, did you simply follow them a little too far one season and then just keep going? The truth is, you are just following the food. The moving buffet is heading north, and so are you. As you move out of the familiar Rift Valley, you commit fully to a life on the ground. This new active lifestyle in the equatorial sun presents a problem: overheating. The solution is a radical one. Your species sheds its thick body hair, the insulating fur of your ancestors, and develops an incredible density of sweat glands. You become the naked ape, a creature that can cool itself by perspiring, allowing you to remain active during the heat of midday when other predators are forced to rest. But this innovation comes with a trade-off. Your newly exposed skin is vulnerable to the sun's damaging ultraviolet radiation. And so another adaptation clicks into place. Your skin becomes rich in melanin, a dark pigment that acts as a natural sunscreen. Losing your fur is great for staying cool, but it comes at the cost of being very, very easy to sunburn. It's a classic evolutionary compromise. Your journey takes you out of the savanna and into new strange lands. You cross arid deserts that will one day hold great cities, and you follow green corridors through unfamiliar mountains. You are adaptable, your intelligence, and your simple but effective toolkit allowing you to process new types of plants and animals. You are walking into a world with no other hominins, a vast, empty niche for a clever, upright ape to fill. One of your distant cousins on this great trek will keep walking and walking and walking. Their descendants will cross all of Asia and eventually, on a small tropical island that will one day be called Java, one of them will die and be buried in river sediment. In 1891, a Dutch anatomist named Eugène Dubois will unearth that fossilized skull cap. The discovery of Java man will be the first definitive proof that early humans were not confined to a single continent, that they were explorers who had conquered the old world long before the advent of ships or maps. Your journey is the first chapter of that story. You stand with your clan on a rocky bluff, looking out over a landscape that no one of your kind has ever seen before. The air smells different, the plants are unfamiliar, and the future is a complete unknown. But you are not afraid. You have your family, you have your tools, and you have a body built to walk to the horizon. You turn your face to the north and take another step, part of a slow, inexorable tide of humanity, leaving Africa behind in the dust. Your long walk has taken you into a world of new and challenging temperatures. The African sun is a memory replaced by a sky that is often a pale, hazy gray. The nights are cold, a deep, penetrating chill that seeps into your bones and makes sleep a shivering, fitful state. Your naked skin, so perfectly adapted for cooling you down on the savanna, is now a profound liability. You huddle together with your clan for warmth, a pile of shivering bodies, but it is not enough. You need a new solution, and the world is about to provide it in the most terrifying and spectacular way possible. A storm rolls in the sky, turning a bruised purple black. A bolt of lightning brighter than anything you have ever seen strikes a towering dead pine tree at the edge of your clearing. The explosion is deafening. The tree erupts in a column of orange flame. Your first instinct, honed over 1,000,000 years of evolution, is terror. Fire is death. Fire is destruction. You retreat with your clan, watching the magnificent, horrifying spectacle from a safe distance as the fire consumes the tree. But as the hours pass and the fire dies down, something new holds you there. It's warmth. You can feel it from 100 paces away, a gentle, comforting heat that pushes back against the encroaching chill of the evening. Curiosity, the hallmark of your expanding brain, wages a war against your instinctual fear. One of the bolder youths in your group nervously approaches the smoldering stump. He doesn't touch it, but he finds a long fallen branch that is burning at one end. He picks it up. He is holding the wobbly orange flower. He is holding a piece of the storm. He is holding fire. This moment is the beginning of a revolution. The academic debate will rage for centuries in the future. When did your kind first learn to control fire? And how long after that did you learn to make it? The evidence suggests that control came first by a huge margin. You cannot yet create this magic from scratch. You are a fire controller, not a fire starter, which means the task of keeping this captured flame alive is now the single most important job for your clan. Someone is assigned to be the keeper of the flame, a high-stress management position that mostly involves feeding it dry wood and keeping the clumsier members of the clan from tripping and falling into it. You establish a permanent hearth in a sheltered spot, perhaps in the mouth of a cave or under a rocky overhang, just like the ones that will one day be found at Gesher Beno Yaakov in Israel, providing the first definitive proof of your mastery of this element. The fire transforms your life completely. At night, you no longer huddle in trees. You huddle around the fire. It is a bubble of light and warmth in the immense cold darkness. You quickly discover that the other creatures of the night, the cave bears and the scimitar-toothed cats, are still terrified of the flames. Your new security system is far more effective than just climbing a tree. The fire also changes your diet. One day you accidentally drop a piece of scavenged deer meat into the edge of the flames. It sizzles and blackens. Annoyed at the loss, you pull it out with a stick. The smell is intoxicating, and the taste is a revelation. It is tender, savory, and rich in a way that raw meat never was. It's the world's first barbecue, and the reviews are stellar. Cooking food this external predigestion makes it easier for your body to absorb nutrients and calories. This has a profound, though unseen, effect on your evolution. With less energy needed for a large, complex gut to break down tough foods, more metabolic energy can be diverted to the most expensive organ you own, your brain. You have quite literally started to cook your way to becoming human. The fire becomes the new heart of your clan. You gather around it not just for warmth and safety, but for community. In the flickering firelight, you can see each other's faces, read each other's expressions. It extends your day, giving you hours of social time after the sun is set. You work on your tools, you share your food, you communicate in your rudimentary way, all within the magic circle of light. You have captured the sun, and by doing so, you have laid the foundation for everything that is to come. The campfire has become the center of your universe, a forge for your new society. The warmth and safety it provides have given you a remarkable gift: spare time. No longer forced to spend every waking moment either searching for food or hiding in a tree, your clan now has hours of secure, well-lit time in the evenings. And with spare time, a bigger brain, and a diet rich in calories, you start to tinker. Your old toolkit, the simple older-one flakes and choppers, feels clumsy now, a technology ripe for an upgrade. You are no longer content to just find a sharp edge on a rock. You have a new idea, a leap of imagination so profound, it will define your kind for over 1 million years. You have a picture in your mind of the tool you want to create before you start. This mental template is the key. You select a large, flattish nodule of flint, feeling its weight and balance. You don't just smash it. You begin to work it systematically, using a hammerstone of antler or hard bone to remove small, precise flakes from both sides. This is the bifacial technique, and it requires planning, patience, and a deep intuitive understanding of the stone. You turn the stone over and over in your hands, your eyes scanning its emerging shape, chipping away at the rough spots. You are not just creating an edge, you are creating a form, a symmetrical teardrop shape with a rounded base that fits perfectly in your palm and two sharp converging edges that meet at a point. Your ancestors just wanted a sharp bit. You want a sharp bit with style, chun. It's the birth of industrial design, and your first major product is a teardrop-shaped rock of death. This is the Acheulean hand axe. Its creation is a new ritual in your society. The young ones watch the elders, learning the precise angles to strike the stone. The sound of flint knapping becomes as common around the fire as chatter and the crackle of burning wood. In the 1840s, a French customs official and amateur archaeologist, Jacques Boucher de Crèvecoeur de Perthes, will discover thousands of these very tools in the gravel pits of Saint-Achel, France. He will argue against the scientific consensus of his time that their existence proves that humanity is far older than the Bible suggests, that a different kind of human lived alongside extinct mammoths and woolly rhinos. Your handiwork will become the key that unlocks the concept of deep human history. You hold your finished axe. It is a masterpiece. The edges are sharp enough to butcher the thickest hide, the point fine enough for piercing, and the heavy base perfect for cracking bones or digging up nutritious tubers. It's a butcher knife, a shovel, and a scraper all in one. But you also notice something else. You spent extra time on it, making it more symmetrical than was strictly necessary, choosing a piece of flint with an interesting fossil-bearing inclusion in its center. You have no practical reason for doing this, but it feels right. It is beautiful. This is a quirky and profoundly human impulse, the desire to make something better than it needs to be the first hint of an aesthetic sense being applied to technology. Of course, the exact purpose of these axes will be debated by your descendants. Were they all-purpose multi-tools? Were they primarily for butchering the giant animals you are now more capable of confronting? Or were the most finely made ones something else entirely? Some will argue they were a form of social currency, a status symbol, to show off your skill, intelligence, and fitness to potential mates. The truth is probably a mix of all three. Your beautiful axe is both a practical tool and a source of deep personal pride. You feel a sense of satisfaction that millions of years later, people will get from perfectly assembling flat-pack furniture on the first try. This new tool is a perfect extension of your new body and mind. It is versatile, efficient, and requires foresight and skill to create, Armed with the hand axe and the power of fire, you are no longer just a marginal scavenger. You are becoming a dominant force in your landscape, a creature capable of shaping its world, starting with this single perfect stone held in the palm of your hand. Your new toolkit and your mastery of fire have given your clan a swagger, a confidence that was unthinkable to your ancestors. You are no longer just waiting for the leftovers from someone else's kill. You are beginning to realize that with enough planning, cooperation, and sheer audacity, you can create your own kills. You are making the monumental shift from being a world-class scavenger to a fledgling big-game hunter. The target today is an ambition made manifest, a straight-tusked elephant, a creature so large it seems like a part of the landscape. The plan isn't to kill it quickly. The plan is to annoy it to death over several grueling days. This is the dawn of persistence hunting. It is a battle not of strength, but of stamina and intelligence. Your body with its long legs, sweat-cooled skin, and a newly robust nuchal ligament in your neck to stabilize your head while running is built for this. You are a natural marathon runner in a world of sprinters. Your clan begins by observing the elephant herd looking for the perfect target, not a prime bull or a protective mother, but a young adolescent who has wandered too far from the group or an old one whose steps are slow and heavy. Once the target is selected, the hunt begins. It is less a thrilling chase and more a relentless multi-day harassment campaign. Your hunting party, a dozen strong, fans out. You use thrown rocks and burning branches to harry the great beast, to separate it from the safety of its herd and to keep it moving. You don't let it rest. You don't let it eat or drink. Hour after hour, day after day, you stay just outside the range of its deadly tusks, a persistent, buzzing swarm of intelligent pests. The elephant is powerful, but its power has a limit. It can't cool itself as efficiently as you can. It will eventually tire. Your primary weapon is not the hand axe that is a butchering tool for later. Your weapon is a simple spear of sharpened wood. You and your clan have learned to select straight, strong saplings, peel off the bark, and harden the points in the embers of your fire. In a few 100,000 years, your descendants in what will become Germany will perfect this technology, creating the magnificent Schoningen spears, beautifully balanced, weighted throwing spears that prove without a doubt that hominins were sophisticated hunters. Your fire-hardened stick is the humble ancestor of that technology, a simple tool for a simple, brutal purpose. After 2 days of relentless pursuit, the young elephant is exhausted, dehydrated, and confused. You have driven it into a place of your choosing, a swampy, bog-like area where its immense weight becomes a liability. Its feet sink into the thick mud, restricting its movement. Now the final, most dangerous phase begins. The hunters close in. You move as a fluid, coordinated unit, a pack of intelligent predators. One group creates a distraction from the front, while others dart in from the sides, jabbing with their sharp spears at the animal's thick hide. Each jab is a small wound, but a dozen wounds, 100 wounds, will slowly drain the great beast of its strength and its blood. The debate among future paleontologists will question the extent of your hunting prowess. Were you truly capable of taking down such a colossal beast, or was this a rare, lucky event? The evidence at kill sites showing the bones of many such animals alongside your tools will suggest this was no fluke. This was a core part of your strategy for survival, a high-risk, high-reward activity that provided enough calories to feed your clan for months and fuel the continued expansion of your powerful brain. The elephant finally bellows one last time and crashes to its side, its great heart giving out. The hunt is over. A wave of exhaustion and elation washes over your clan. But the work has just begun. The good news is you've secured enough food to last for months. The bad news is now you have to butcher a 10-ton elephant with nothing but sharp rocks, which is going to be a long and messy weekend. You pull out your Herculean hand axe, its perfect teardrop shape feeling heavy and purposeful in your hand. Around the massive carcass, your clan works together, a society bound by the shared danger of the hunt and the immense bounty of its success. The great diaspora of your erectus ancestors has fractured your lineage, sending it down different evolutionary paths. While some of your distant cousins continue to thrive in Africa and Asia, your branch of the family tree has pushed north into the chill of Europe. Hundreds of thousands of years in this colder, more seasonal world has reshaped you. You are no longer the lean, long-limbed runner of the African plains. You are Homo heidelbergensis, a new kind of human for a new kind of world. You are taller and far more robust than your ancestors built for strength and the conservation of heat. You're less of a marathon runner and more of a heavyweight wrestler, a physique far better suited to a landscape where the primary challenge is not shedding heat but desperately trying to keep it. You've moved to Europe. The good news is the scenery is dramatic. The bad news is there are only two seasons, freezing cold and slightly less freezing cold. Your brain has also continued its relentless expansion now comfortably within the lower range of modern humans. It is a powerful analytical tool, and you need every ounce of its processing power to survive here. Your world is one of dense, dark forests of pine and yew and vast windy steppes roamed by strange new beasts. The elephants are gone, replaced by the formidable woolly rhinoceros and the giant deer, Megaloceros, with its impossibly wide antlers. The top predators are now the saber-toothed cat, and the enormous European cave bear a creature that makes the lions of your ancestral homeland seem manageable. Your clan survives here for one reason: you have inherited the powerful technologies of your erectus forebears and have begun to refine them. Fire is no longer a luxury, it is the absolute center of your existence, the only thing standing between you and freezing to death on a long winter's night. Your hunting strategies have grown more sophisticated. You are masters of your domain. You know the migratory paths of the giant deer and the best places to ambush the wild horses that graze on the steppe. In what will one day be a gravel quarry in Boxgrove, England, your clan will bring down a horse, butchering it with your fine flint hand axes and leaving behind the bones for future scientists to discover. The shin bone of one of your own people found at that same site will speak to your impressive size and strength, a testament to a life of physical rigor. A profound though subtle change is happening inside your throat. The small floating hyoid bone in your neck has shifted into a position almost identical to that of your far future descendants. This crucial piece of anatomy, which anchors the muscles of the tongue, gives you a vocal dexterity your ancestors lacked. The grunts and hoots of habilis have evolved into a much wider, more controlled range of sounds. While you don't have complex symbolic language yet, you can communicate with a new level of nuance. You can now articulate the difference between "there is a cave bear nearby" and "there is a ridiculously, terrifyingly large cave bear currently standing behind you." It's a life-saving upgrade. You are a transitional creature, a pivotal link in the human chain. This fact will make you a subject of intense academic debate. Are you simply a late-stage, widespread version of Homo erectus? Or are you the direct common ancestor of both the Neanderthals, who will soon evolve from your line here in Europe, and the Homo sapiens, who are continuing to evolve back in Africa? Your species is a bit of a paleontological wastebasket, a convenient label for a wide range of fossils that are more advanced than erectus, but not quite Neanderthal or sapiens. You are the vital, messy, and widespread middle chapter of the story. You stand with your hunting party on a ridge overlooking a forested valley. You are clad in heavy scraped hides of deer and bear crudely fastened but effective. You hold a heavy wooden spear, its point fire hardened and sharp. Below, a herd of wild horses grazes peacefully. Your mind is already working, visualizing the terrain, planning the ambush, coordinating the attack with your kin through a series of quiet, complex vocalizations. You are a long way from the warm cradle of Africa, but you are thriving. You are the hominin of the north, a master of the cold, a creature of strength, fire, and ice. Surviving the European winter is a relentless battle against the cold. Your thick hides and robust bodies help, and the fire is a lifesaver. But a flickering flame in an open rock shelter feels woefully inadequate when an icy wind is howling and the snow is piling up in drifts. Your clan needs something more. You need a barrier against the world, a place to contain the precious warmth of your fire. You need a home. And so with the same foresight you use to plan a hunt, you begin to build one. The construction process is a testament to your clan's cooperative strength and growing intellect. It involves a lot of grunting, shoving large sticks into the ground, and arguing in your increasingly complex proto-language about where the entrance should face. It's the birth of the construction industry, and it's probably already behind schedule. You choose a spot sheltered from the worst of the wind, perhaps on a beach overlooking a bay, just like the spot your descendants will choose at Terra Amata in what will one day be Nice, France. The evidence of your work here, a pattern of post holes, a central hearth, and scattered stone tools, will one day provide archaeologists with a stunningly detailed snapshot of your domestic life. You use heavy stones to support the bases of large sturdy branches, driving them into the ground to form an oval-shaped frame. You then weave smaller, more flexible saplings between them, creating a rough lattice. The final crucial step is to drape the entire structure with the large scraped hides of the giant deer and horses you have hunted, overlapping them to block the wind and shed the rain and snow. In the center, you dig a shallow pit for your fire, the hearth that will be the heart of this new structure. It's not exactly a palace. It's drafty, it leaks a bit when it rains, and it smells strongly of wood smoke, wet hides, and old meat. But it is yours. It is a deliberate creation, a space you have carved out of the wilderness. It is the first house on the block, mostly because it is the only house on the block. For the first time, you have a real buffer between your family and the hostile world. The psychological comfort of this is as profound as the physical warmth. Inside, your life becomes more organized. You have a dedicated corner for smashing rocks into slightly smaller, sharper rocks, the debris from your flint knapping kept to one area. It's important to have a good work-life balance after all, even if your work is making stone tools and your life is not getting eaten by a cave lion. Other areas are softer, laid with dried grasses and perhaps the furriest hides for sleeping. You are not just building a shelter, you are creating distinct spaces for work, rest, and socializing. It is the dawn of interior design. Of course, your descendants will debate the nature of these homes. Were they permanent settlements, the first villages, or were they temporary, seasonal camps? The evidence suggests the latter. You are still a people who follow the herds. This hut is your winter base, a place to endure the harshest months when the game is scarce and the weather is brutal. When the great thaw of spring arrives, you will abandon it, packing up your most essential tools and your precious portable fire, and follow the great deer herds back up into the highlands. But you will remember this place. You will return next winter, and the winter after that, your lives now tethered to a seasonal cycle of migration and settlement. You sit inside your new home, the wind rattling the hides outside the fire, casting a warm, flickering orange glow on the faces of your clan. The children are asleep, the adults are quietly mending spears or chewing on a piece of roasted meat from last week's hunt. The world outside is a realm of ice, wind, and predators. But in here, in this small, smoky, self-made space, you are safe, you are warm, you are home. It is a new and powerful feeling, and it will give your kind the anchor you need to conquer this cold continent. Your clan carries a heavy burden, not the haunch of a butchered deer or a basket of scavenged tubers, but the body of one of your own. A young male struck down in his prime by a rockfall during a hunt. Your group does not abandon him to the scavengers. You carry his limp, heavy form for 2 days, a slow, solemn procession moving through the rugged hills of what will one day be northern Spain. Your destination is a place known only to a few clans, a place of strange importance, a deep, dark cave system in the Atapuerca Mountains. Venturing deep into the earth is not your favorite activity. The air grows cold and damp. The familiar scents of the forest are replaced by the smell of wet limestone and decay. And the darkness is absolute, broken only by the sputtering, smoky light of the resin-smeared branches you carry as torches. You follow a familiar path through a series of wide chambers until you arrive at the edge of a great vertical shaft, a black hole in the floor of the cave that seems to swallow the light of your torches. This is the place, this is Cima de los Huesos, the pit of bones. With quiet guttural calls and gentle shoves, your group maneuvers the body to the edge of the pit. There is no weeping, no grand ceremony. There is only a shared silent understanding. With a final coordinated effort, you push the body over the edge. It vanishes into the darkness, and you hear it a few seconds later, a series of sickening soft thuds as it tumbles 13 meters down to the bottom of the shaft. You have just participated in a ritual that will confound and fascinate your descendants. This act is at the heart of a great academic debate. What does this pit represent? Was this the world's first cemetery? Is your act a form of ritual burial, a sign of respect for the dead, and perhaps a belief in an afterlife? Or is it something more pragmatic, a form of ancient sanitation, a convenient and secure way to dispose of a rotting corpse that would otherwise attract dangerous cave bears and lions to your living sites? You do not have the words for afterlife or ritual, but your actions are deliberate, solemn, and filled with a purpose that feels deeper than simple waste disposal. This seems to be the designated spot for permanent storage. It's a very efficient system, if a little grim. Over thousands of years, your clan and others will return here again and again, committing your dead to the deep, cold silence of the pit. The bones of at least 28 of your kin, males, females, young adults, and adolescents, will eventually accumulate at the bottom, creating one of the most significant fossil assemblages in human history. The discovery of this bone-jammed cavern in the 20th century will provide an unprecedented window into the lives and deaths of your people. Before you turn to leave the pit, another member of your clan steps forward. He holds a hand axe, a tool he has carried for a long time. But it is not a normal axe. It is made from a beautiful, unusual piece of reddish-purple quartzite, a material not found for many miles. It is a masterpiece of its kind, symmetrical and almost glowing in the torchlight. He looks at it for a moment, then with a simple flick of his wrist, he tosses it into the darkness of the pit to join the newly fallen body. It is the world's first and most confusing funeral gift. Future archaeologists will nickname this unique artifact Excalibur, and they will see it as the strongest evidence that something more than just sanitation was happening here. They will see it as a symbol, an offering, a sign that your mind was grappling with the great silent mystery of death itself. You turn away from the pit and begin the long climb back to the surface, back to the world of light and life, leaving your kinsman and the beautiful stone axe behind in the eternal, silent darkness. The long, slow march of your lineage, which began on the hot plains of Africa, has now found its zenith in the frozen forests of Ice Age Europe. Over hundreds of thousands of years, the cold has sculpted your kind, refining the Heidelbergensis blueprint into something new, something perfectly and beautifully adapted to this harsh world. You are Homo neanderthalensis. You are a Neanderthal, a true child of the ice. Your body is a masterpiece of thermal engineering. You are shorter and more powerfully built than your ancestors, with a wide barrel-shaped chest and relatively short limbs. This stocky physique, governed by the simple physics of Allen's and Bergman's rules, is designed to minimize surface area and conserve precious body heat. You are built like a refrigerator with a head. You aren't winning any marathons, but you are exceptionally good at not freezing to death, which is the main Olympic sport of the Pleistocene. Your bones are thick and dense, your muscle attachments vast, indicating a level of physical strength that would be almost unimaginable to your modern human cousins. Your face, too, has been shaped by the cold. Your most prominent feature is your large projecting nose and wide nasal cavity. It's a state-of-the-art built-in air conditioning unit designed to take in huge gulps of frigid dry air and warm and humidify it before it hits your sensitive lungs. It's not subtle, but it's highly effective. You have a pronounced heavy brow ridge arching over your eyes, and your skull is long and low, housing a brain that is on average even larger than that of the Homo sapiens who are concurrently evolving in Africa. This unique anatomy would one day cause great confusion. When the first skeleton of your kind is unearthed by quarry workers in Germany's Neander Valley in 1856, the scientific establishment will be baffled. The great pathologist Rudolf Virchow will dismiss the strange bones as those of a modern human suffering from rickets and arthritis, its brow ridge the result of constant pained frowning. It will take decades of further discoveries for the world to recognize you not as a diseased modern, but as a distinct and successful form of ancient human. Future humans will spend a solid century thinking your kind were dim-witted, hunched-over brutes. They couldn't be more wrong. You just have a resting, grumpy face because it's perpetually winter. You are far from a simple brute. Hidden deep within your skull is another subtle, unique adaptation. The bony labyrinth of your inner ear, the delicate structure that governs your sense of balance, has a distinct shape different from all other hominins. While its exact functional significance is a mystery that will be debated by future scientists, it is an unmistakable internal signature of your unique evolutionary journey, a secret whispered only by your bones. You are an apex predator, the undisputed master of this frozen continent. You live in small, close-knit family groups, and your entire existence revolves around the hunt. The skills, tools, and social cooperation of your ancestors have been honed to a razor's edge. Your world is a complex tapestry of knowledge passed down through generations. How to read the tracks of a woolly rhino in the snow. How to find the best flint nodules in a frozen riverbed. How to predict the sudden, violent storms that sweep down from the great ice sheets to the north. You are intelligent, you are resourceful, and you are above all a survivor. You look out from your rock shelter over a landscape of snow-dusted pines and vast silent glaciers, and you feel no fear. This is not a hostile wasteland. This is your home. Life as a Neanderthal is a life of the hunt. Your entire physical and cultural existence is oriented around the acquisition of meat and fat, the high-calorie fuel required to survive the relentless cold. Your powerful body, your large brain, and your close-knit family group all serve a single purpose: to turn the formidable megafauna of Ice Age Europe into your next meal. Today, the target is a herd of giant elk grazing in a forested valley. Their antlers are a forest of sharpened tines, and their hooves can shatter bone. But their bodies are rich in the fat. Your family needs to survive the coming winter. Your hunting strategy is a reflection of your physique. It is not about speed or endurance, but about power, stealth, and overwhelming force at close quarters. This isn't the persistence hunt of your erectus ancestors. This is a high-contact, high-risk ambush. Your hunting strategy does not involve a lot of finesse. It's mostly get as close as possible to the giant angry animal and then poke it very hard with a sharp stick. It's brutally effective, but your life expectancy is variable. You and your two brothers move like ghosts through the dense undergrowth of the pine forest, your stocky frames low to the ground, every step silent and deliberate. You are using the terrain, the thick trees, the deep shadows, the direction of the wind, to get within arm's reach of your prey. In your hand, you grip your most important tool, a heavy spear. It is a thick shaft of yew wood, straightened and hardened over the fire, and at its tip is a broad, sharp flint point. The point is a product of your refined Mysterian tool industry struck from a carefully prepared stone core. But the real innovation is how it's attached. You have learned to heat birch bark in a sealed container of clay, a complex oxygen-free process that breaks it down into a thick, black, sticky tar. This tar is a powerful adhesive, the world's first synthetic material, a superglue you use to securely half the stone point to the wooden shaft. It's a smelly, complicated process, but it creates a weapon of devastating effectiveness. You wait for hours motionless, your muscles coiled, until the target animal, a large, healthy female, wanders just close enough to your hiding spot. With a sharp grunt, you explode from cover. There is no time for the elk to react. Before it can turn to flee, you are upon it, driving your heavy spear with the full force of your powerful body into its flank. Your brothers engage from the other side, their own spears finding their mark. The wounded animal roars in pain and terror, thrashing wildly. This is the most dangerous moment. A kick from one of its powerful legs could crush your chest, a risk that many of your kind will pay the ultimate price for. At the Shanidar Cave in modern-day Iraq, the skeleton of one of your distant cousins will be found with a healed but severe stab wound to his ribs, a permanent reminder of a hunt that nearly went wrong. You feel a hoof glance off your own ribs, a blow that sends a shock of white-hot pain through your side, but thankfully doesn't break anything. The good news is you'll live. The bad news is you'll be feeling that for weeks. The debate about your hunting technology will persist for centuries. The traditional view will be that your heavy spears were for thrusting, only that you lacked the intelligence for true projectile weapons. Some later studies will suggest you could throw them for short distances, but your true strength was always here up close, a contest of muscle and nerve. You cling to the struggling animal, a small, powerful predator, latched onto a giant, driving your spear deeper. The elk finally crashes to the forest floor. The hunt is over. The rest of your small family emerges from the woods, the females and young carrying sharp flint flakes and hand axes for the great task ahead. The butchery is swift and efficient, a skill passed down through countless generations. Every part of the animal will be used: the meat for food, the fat for fuel and nourishment, the hide for clothing, and shelter, the bones and antlers for tools. You work together as a single coordinated unit, your survival utterly dependent on this dangerous, intimate, and sacred dance with the great beasts of your frozen world. The successful hunt fills your bellies with fat and protein, and your cave with the thick, greasy smoke of roasting meat. But success in this world is always paid for in the currency of pain. Your ribs ache with a deep purple bruise from the elk's kick, a constant, dull reminder of how close you came to being crushed. Another hunter, a young male on one of his first big hunts, was not so lucky. A sharpened tine of an antler sliced his thigh open, a deep wound that, while not life-threatening, has left him unable to walk. In a simpler, more brutal world, he would be left behind. But that is not your way. This is the quiet, revolutionary power of your Neanderthal community. You are more than a pack of predators. You are a family. Your survival is predicated not on the strength of the individual, but on the resilience of the group. You bring the injured hunter the choicest cuts of meat, the softest pieces of liver and heart. You help him clean his wound with moss and keep the flies away. You protect him. Your clan's healthcare plan is simple, really. Don't die. If you get hurt, everyone else picks up the slack. It's a system built on tough love and a shared vested interest in not starving. This compassion extends to the other end of life's spectrum. The oldest member of your clan is a man well into his 40s, a great age in this world. His body is a roadmap of old injuries. His gait is a slow, arthritic shuffle, and he can no longer draw a bow or wield a heavy spear. More importantly, he has almost no teeth left. Decades of chewing tough, gritty meat and using his mouth as a third hand to grip hides while scraping them has worn his teeth down to smooth, useless nubs. He cannot chew for himself. and so you and the other females do it for him. You take a piece of roasted meat, chew it into a soft, digestible pulp, and then give it to the old man to swallow. It's a disgusting job, but it's far better than letting a family member starve. The very existence of this toothless old man is a testament to your humanity and a source of intense future debate. When the skeleton of a similar individual is found at La Chapelle-aux-Saints in France in 1908, it will become the cornerstone for the argument that your kind was compassionate. For this individual to have survived for years with debilitating arthritis and no teeth, his clan must have cared for him, fed him, and protected him. Was this act born of pure empathy, a love for a family member? Or was it a more pragmatic decision to keep an elder alive for the knowledge and experience he held? From your perspective, sitting by the fire and patiently preparing a meal for the old man, the question is meaningless. He is your kin. You care for him. The reasons are a tangled mix of love and logic that you have no need to unravel. Even the children learn this lesson. They watch you care for the injured and the old, and they practice their own forms of nurturing. You see them huddling around a cave lion cub whose mother was killed in a hunt, not harming it, but observing it with a strange, gentle curiosity. They are learning the foundational rule of your society: a life is hard, but it is harder alone. The community is the only shield against the brutal indifference of the Ice Age. The old man in turn provides for the group in his own way. He can no longer hunt, but he is a master flint knapper, his gnarled hands still capable of producing the finest, sharpest points. He is also the group's memory, the keeper of stories. He watches the children while the able-bodied hunters are away, keeping them safe and entertaining them with long, rambling stories told in your guttural but expressive language. You don't always understand the point of his stories, but you nod along politely. You lie down by the fire, your bruised ribs aching, and watch the quiet domestic scene. The injured hunter is sleeping. The old man is watching the flames, and the children are huddled together under a warm bearskin. This is the other side of the hunter's life. It is not all violence and struggle. It is the warmth of the hearth, the strength of the family, and the profound unspoken promise that when you fall, there will be hands to help you up. The life of your clan is not solely defined by the grim necessities of food and shelter. In the quiet moments after a successful hunt, when bellies are full and the fire is burning high, something new begins to stir in your mind. It is an impulse that goes beyond the practical, a nascent flicker of what your descendants will call symbolic thought. Your world is beginning to have not just function, but meaning. This inner world first expresses itself on your own body. You discover the power of pigments. You find a nodule of soft red ochre, a gift from the iron-rich earth. You grind it between two stones, mixing the rich red powder with animal fat to create a thick, vibrant paste. Then, using your fingers, you apply it to your skin, drawing lines and patterns across your chest and face. This isn't for camouflage, nor is it for insect repellent, though it may have that secondary effect. It is a declaration. It marks you as a member of your clan, a successful hunter, a living being with an identity. You've just invented goth makeup 60,000 years ahead of schedule. Your desire for adornment doesn't stop with pigment. You learn to see the symbolic power in the natural world. After a successful hunt of a golden eagle, you do not just take the meat. You carefully, skillfully remove its talons. These are not for eating. They are objects of power, tokens from the undisputed master of the sky. You use a sharp flint flake to bore a small hole at the base of each talon, and you thread them onto a piece of dried sinew. You wear this necklace with a sense of pride. It is a bold-fashioned statement that says, I am fierce, I am capable, I have a connection to one of the great spirits of this world. Future paleontologists, finding these very talons at sites like Krapina in Croatia, will see the clear intentional cut marks and polishing, and realize that your kind invented jewelry independently long before modern humans arrived in Europe to show you how. Your symbolic world extends beyond your body and into the earth itself. On your seasonal migrations, there is a particular cave. Your clan returns to a place that feels different, special. It is not a place you live in. It is a place you visit. Deep inside, beyond the reach of the sun, you carry your torches and your red ochre paste. Here on the cold, damp limestone walls, you create your first marks. This is not the sophisticated naturalistic art your sapiens cousins will one day create. It is something more abstract, more fundamental. You place your hand flat against the wall, and using a hollow bird bone, you blow the red pigment around it, creating a negative image, a ghostly stencil of your own presence. You paint strange ladder-like shapes and arrangements of dots. The meaning of these symbols will be lost to time, a source of endless debate for future archaeologists. Are the hand stencils a signature, a way of saying I was here? Are the geometric shapes a map of your territory or a representation of something from a dream or a trance? You don't have a clear answer yourself. You are driven by a deep, pre-linguistic urge to leave a mark, to impose order and meaning on the world, to communicate something that you have no words for. The discovery in the early 21st century that the art in Spanish caves like La Pasiega in Maltravieso dates back over 64,000 years will be a bombshell in the scientific community. It will provide the first definitive proof that your kind, the Neanderthals, were the world's first cave artists, creating these symbols 20,000 years before the arrival of Homo sapiens in Europe. The discovery will shatter the last vestiges of the old stereotype that you were a mindless brute. It will prove that you had a complex inner world, a mind capable of abstract and symbolic thought. You are not just a creature of instinct. You are a creator of meaning, leaving your ghostly red handprint on the wall of a deep cave, a permanent echo of your fleeting existence. You stand on a high ridge overlooking your territory, a valley you have known your entire life. You are the apex predator, the master of this cold, harsh, but predictable world. Then one day you see them. On the opposite ridge, a small group of figures moves against the skyline, and your world is no longer predictable. They are not like you. Your first thought is that they are unfinished, that they are dangerously ill-suited for this world. They are tall and strangely slender, with long, gangly limbs that seem built for a warmer climate. Where you are broad and compact, a vessel for conserving heat, they are gracile and linear, a design for shedding it. You watch them, and you are not afraid, not yet. You are simply confused. These are Homo sapiens. They are the newcomers, the latest wave of hominin to push out of Africa, and they are sweeping into Europe. This is the great encounter, the moment around 45,000 years ago, when the two most advanced forms of human on the planet finally meet. The nature of this meeting, whether it was violent, peaceful, or indifferent, will be one of the most profound and unanswerable questions of paleoanthropology. Your first encounter is one of mutual caution. They see you a powerfully built creature of immense strength, and they keep their distance. You see them a band of strangely fragile-looking beings, and you see no reason to engage. You turn and lead your clan away, down into the familiar woods. But the image of them stays in your mind. You see them again a few weeks later, this time up closer. You are hidden observing them hunt, and now you see the true difference. It is not in their bodies, but in their technology. You see one of them fit the butt of a light-fletched spear into a small hook stick. With a flick of the wrist and a fluid whipping motion, the stick launches the spear with a speed and force that is utterly astonishing. The spear flies true for 50 meters, striking a reindeer in the side. Your own spears are heavy, powerful tools for close quarters personal disagreements. Theirs are for long-distance relationships. This tool, the atlatl or spear thrower, is a weapon you have no answer for. It is part of their ornation toolkit, a new and deadly industry of fine blades, bone points, and projectile weapons that has arrived in Europe with them. You finally hear them speak to one another, their voices carrying on the cold, clear air. And here again is a strange surprise. Their voices are rich, resonant, and possessed of a tonal range you cannot match. Your own vocal tract, with its higher larynx, produces a powerful but more nasal and higher-pitched sound than your robust frame would suggest. For all your barrel-chested strength, you sound a bit reedy in comparison. It's a small, almost comical difference, but it is another piece of the unsettling puzzle. They are different in ways you are only just beginning to comprehend. The world you knew, the one you had mastered, has been irrevocably altered. There is a new intelligence on the landscape, a new and unpredictable competitor. They move differently, they hunt differently, they sound different, and they carry a technology you have never conceived of. For tens of thousands of years, your kind has been the sole human inhabitant of this continent. That long, lonely reign is now over. The final chapter of your story has begun not with a bang, but with the sight of a strangely thin figure on a distant ridge, and the unsettling flight of a spear that travels farther than it should. While your Neanderthal cousins were mastering the European ice, your branch of the family tree took a different path back in the warm cradle of Africa. You are one of them. You are Homo sapiens. A wise man, though you don't feel particularly wise just yet. You feel new. Your body is lean and gracile, built for the heat. Your face is flat, your brow, ridge is almost gone, and tucked at the bottom of your jaw is a strange new feature. A chin. You're not sure what it's for. It doesn't help you eat or hunt, it's just there. Your face's appendix. But the most significant change is the one you cannot see. Your skull has become a high dome vault, and inside it, a rewired brain is beginning to spark with a new kind of fire. This new mind of yours is capable of a cognitive fluidity your ancestors could only dream of. You can connect disparate ideas. You can plan for a distant future, not just the next season. You can think in symbols. It's a powerful upgrade, but it also comes with a strange, nagging new feature called existential dread, which seems like a bit of a design flaw. The emergence of this behavioral modernity will be a source of great debate for future thinkers. Was it a sudden great leap forward? A lucky genetic mutation that rewired the brain and unlocked a cascade of creativity? Or was it a slow, gradual accumulation of culture, a fire that smoldered for 100,000 years before finally bursting into flame? From your perspective, it feels less like a sudden leap and more like you finally have all the ingredients to a recipe that your ancestors were collecting for millennia. Your technology reflects this new mind. You still make stone tools, but with a new finesse. You can strike a long, slender, standardized blade from a prepared core, a much more efficient use of stone than the old hand axe. More importantly, you begin to experiment with other materials. You carve intricate points and hooks from bone and antler. You weave plant fibers together to create nets for fishing and lines for carrying things. And you begin to adorn yourself. You are walking along a beach in what will one day be South Africa when you find a handful of small tick shells. An idea strikes you. You spend an entire afternoon using a sharp bone awl to painstakingly punch a tiny hole in each one, and then you thread them onto a piece of sinew. You have made a necklace. It has no practical function. It provides no warmth and contains 0 calories. From a purely survivalist standpoint, it is a complete waste of time, but it feels incredibly important. This is the birth of art, of personal identity, of culture. At Blombos Cave, not far from where you stand, archaeologists will find dozens of these perforated shells, along with blocks of ochre, finely engraved with cross-hatched geometric patterns. These finds, dated to over 75,000 years ago, will provide the first undeniable proof that your kind was thinking symbolically long before you left Africa. Your world is rich with these new ideas. You are a creator. You are not just a user of the landscape. You are a participant in it. You observe the phases of the moon and scratch the cycle onto a piece of bone, creating the first calendar. You notice how pigments can be mixed with binders to create durable paint. You look at your Neanderthal cousins who you may have encountered during brief early forays into the Middle East, and you see a different kind of human. They are powerful, they are intelligent, but their toolkit and their culture have remained largely static for 100,000 years. Yours is now a wildfire of innovation. This new creativity gives you a decisive edge. You are no longer just reacting to the world, you are interpreting it, shaping it, and bending it to your will. You are the hominin that looked at a shell and saw a bead, looked at a piece of red dirt, and saw paint, looked at the world, and saw not just what it is, but what it could be. This is the new mind born in Africa that is about to inherit the earth. Your world, which was once defined by the practicalities of stone and bone, is now exploding with a firestorm of innovation. The new mind your kind possesses is not just capable of symbols, it is a relentless engine for generating them, a factory for producing culture at a rate never before seen on this planet. This period, this cultural eruption, is your great leap forward. You are not just surviving in the world anymore. You are actively interpreting it, reimagining it, and remaking it in your own image. The most practical innovation is in the art of the hunt. You invent the atlatl, the spear thrower. It's an elegantly simple tool, a stick with a hook that fits the butt of a light-fletched dart, but it is a revolutionary force multiplier. It acts as an extension of your arm, allowing you to launch a projectile with incredible speed and accuracy over long distances. This is a game changer. It lets you hunt from a position of safety, reducing the risk of being gored or trampled. It's a huge improvement over the old method of running up and poking the woolly rhino before it notices you, and it dramatically increases your chances of seeing tomorrow. This technological boom extends to your domestic life. You are no longer just scraping hides, you are tailoring them. Using a sharp flint burn, you carve a tiny perfect eye in the end of a polished bone sliver. You have created an eyed needle. With this, you can pierce hides and thread sinew through them, stitching pieces together to create close-fitting, multi-layered clothing. You are not just draping yourself in skins anymore. You are creating custom-fit tunics and trousers. It is the birth of fashion, and finally something that isn't one size fits all. This allows you to regulate your temperature with unparalleled efficiency, a key advantage as you begin to eye the colder lands to the north. But the most profound changes are happening in your inner world. Your command of symbolic language is becoming more complex, allowing you to communicate abstract concepts, the past, the future, the identities of people who are not present, the spirits you feel in the world around you. And with this new depth of communication comes a new art form, music. You find the hollow-winged bone of a great griffin vulture. You carefully carve small holes along its length. You bring it to your lips and blow, and a clear, piercing note fills the air. You have made a flute. You can play 3 distinct notes. It's not a symphony, but it is the first hit single of the Paleolithic, and it's wildly popular around the campfire. The discovery of just such a flute in the Hohlefels cave in Germany will one day prove that your ancestors were making music at least 40,000 years ago. This inner world demands a grander canvas. You follow a shaman, a spiritual leader of your clan, deep into the belly of the earth, into a vast cavern. By the sputtering light of fat lamps, you see the walls are already covered in the work of previous generations. This is a sacred place, a cathedral of memory. You mix your ground ochre with charcoal and cave water, and using a brush made of horsehair, you begin to paint. You are not painting abstract dots or hand stencils. You are painting life itself. You render the charging bison, the graceful horses, and the prowling cave lions with a breathtaking realism and dynamism. The artists of Chauvet Cave in France will one day create a masterpiece of this new consciousness, a gallery of Ice Age beasts so vivid they seem to move in the flickering torchlight. This explosion of art, music, technology, and language is so dramatic that future scientists will argue whether it was a sudden revolution or the inevitable outcome of a long, slow burn. Was your creativity a lightning strike or the culmination of millennia of cognitive evolution? Looking at the art on the cave wall, listening to the notes of the bone flute, and feeling the heft of the spear thrower in your hand, it feels like a revolution. It feels like you have woken up in a new world, one filled with endless possibilities, a world that is now truly yours for the taking. The explosion of creativity and technology your kind has unlocked now fuels the greatest adventure yet undertaken by any hominin. Armed with a versatile new toolkit, a complex social structure, and a brain that can plan, symbolize, and innovate, you are no longer tied to a single landscape. The world is opening up, and you are ready to walk into it. This is the second great exodus from Africa, but it will be vastly different from the first slow drift of your erectus ancestors. This will be a blitz. Your journey does not take you across the harsh deserts of the north. Instead, you are drawn to the coast, a dynamic and incredibly rich new environment to exploit. You become a beachcomber, a master of the littoral zone. Your diet, once reliant on the luck of the hunt or a scavenged carcass, is now supplemented by the reliable, abundant protein of the sea. Your diet is now almost entirely seafood. You've gone from the paleo diet to the beach barbecue diet, and you're not complaining. Oysters are way easier to hunt than a woolly rhino. You learn the rhythms of the tides, prizing shellfish from the rocks, at low tide trapping fish in pools, and using your new bone hooks and fiber lines to pull them from the surf. You leave a new kind of signature on the landscape shell middens. These are vast growing piles of discarded shells, the remains of thousands of meals. They are, in essence, your garbage dumps. To future archaeologists, however, they will be treasure troves, providing a detailed record of your diet, your technology, and how long you stayed in one place. One hominin's trash is another paleoanthropologist's tenure. From your home on the coast of the Horn of Africa, you can see land on the far side of a narrow strait of water. The sea levels are lower now in the depths of the Ice Age, and the crossing to what will be the Arabian Peninsula is not as daunting as it will one day become. Driven by a mix of curiosity, population pressure, and the simple desire to see what's on the other side, a debate of push versus pull, factors that will occupy future scientists, your clan makes a momentous decision. You build simple rafts of bound logs or reeds, and you push out onto the water. This is the beginning of the great coastal migration. You do not push inland. You hug the shore, following the endless buffet of the sea. Generation after generation, your people spread with astonishing speed along the coasts of Arabia, Persia, and India, and down into Southeast Asia. It's less a desperate march and more of a multi-generational beach holiday with occasional moments of high adventure. Your toolkit is perfect for this life. Your gracile body is well suited to the warm coastal climates, and your numbers swell. You travel so fast that in what feels like a blink of an eye in geological time, your descendants arrive somewhere new and utterly alien. After a series of daring sea crossings, island hopping from Southeast Asia, they set foot on a new continent, a great southern landmass that will one day be called Australia. At a place that will be known as Lake Mungo, one of them will be laid to rest around 40,000 years ago, his body ceremonially covered in red ochre. The discovery of Mungo Man will stun the scientific world, providing undeniable proof of the incredible speed and adaptability of your species. To have reached this distant continent so quickly is a testament to the power of the new mind, a mind that could look at the ocean not as a barrier, but as a highway. From a small band of pioneers who first waded into the Red Sea, you have become a global coastal empire, your shell middens marking your triumphant march across the face of the planet. Your journey out of Africa was a triumph, a testament to your species' ingenuity and adaptability. You followed the coast, mastering the rich resources of the sea and spreading across Asia and into the far reaches of Australia with astonishing speed. But not all of your kin followed the beaches. Some groups pushed north into the heart of the great Eurasian continent, following the herds of mammoth and reindeer into a colder, harsher world. Here you are, no longer alone. This land already has a master. For the first time in 200,000 years, two different kinds of human are about to share a valley. You've arrived in Ice Age Europe, and it's time to meet the neighbors. They are Neanderthals. You see them from a distance, at first a short, immensely powerful people, perfectly adapted to the cold. They are nothing like the Glacial, lanky people of your own clan. They are broader, stronger, and they move with a heavy, deliberate confidence that speaks of ancient ownership of this land. You are an intruder here, a newcomer from a warmer world, and the silent, watchful way they observe you from a distant ridge makes it clear you are not entirely welcome. The central drama of your new European life will be competition and coexistence. The nature of this relationship, whether it was primarily violent, competitive, or occasionally cooperative, will be one of the great unanswered questions about your past. For now, it is a relationship of mutual avoidance. You are both apex predators, hunting the same limited supply of large game. When you see their hunting party on the trail of a herd of elk, you steer your own hunters toward a different valley. When they see your campfire smoke, they make their own camp a respectful distance away. It is a cold war fought not with weapons, but with spatial awareness and a shared desire to avoid trouble. But you also see things that intrigue you. You come across an abandoned Neanderthal camp and find their tools. They are different from your own elegant Aurignacian blades. Their Mousterian points are heavier, simpler, but you also find something unexpected: beads made from shells and animal teeth, and a stone point hafted to a spear shaft with a black sticky tar. Your own people are masters of symbolic expression, but you see that these people too have an inner world. This discovery will be mirrored by future archaeologists at sites like the Grotte du Rhin in France, where they will find the Châtel-Pyrénéen industry a strange mix of classic Neanderthal tool types and modern ornaments. They will debate endlessly: did the Neanderthals innovate this on their own? Or did they learn it from you, their new neighbors, in a fascinating example of cultural exchange? And then on rare occasions, the avoidance breaks down. A young hunter from your clan, separated from his group, stumbles upon a lone Neanderthal female gathering roots. There is a moment of tense, profound silence. You are different, but you are not in that different. You recognize the humanity in each other's eyes. This is the moment that will be written into the genome of billions of your future descendants. These rare, risky moments of interbreeding will leave a permanent legacy with most modern humans outside of Africa, carrying between 1 and 4% Neanderthal DNA. It is the ghost in our machine, a fossil record of the time when two human worlds collided and occasionally merged. For now, these interactions are fleeting. The dominant reality is competition. You have the advantage. Your projectile weapons allow you to hunt more safely and perhaps more efficiently. Your tailored clothing may offer better protection from the cold. Your social networks seem larger and more complex, allowing for trade and support over wider distances. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, you begin to outcompete the original masters of this land. You are not conquering them in a great war, but your greater numbers and slightly more adaptable technology are putting a gentle, relentless pressure on their ancient way of life. The long, lonely reign of the Neanderthal is entering its twilight, and you are the dawn. The world has changed. The you that once stood as the undisputed master of Ice Age Europe, the apex predator of a frozen continent, is now a ghost. The perspective shifts back to your Neanderthal eyes, but the confidence and mastery you once felt are gone, replaced by a gnawing uncertainty. Several thousand years have passed since the Glacial newcomers first appeared on the distant ridges. They are no longer a novelty. They are a constant encroaching presence. Your world is shrinking. Your territory, which once spanned from the British Isles to Siberia, is now a small pocket of resistance at the far southwestern edge of the continent. You live in a sea-facing cave on a great rock that will one day be called Gibraltar. The sea is at your back, and the world of the tall ones is in front of you. It's a classic case of neighborhood gentrification. Your people used to own all of Europe. Now you're lucky to have this drafty cave with a view. The great herds of game are thinner now, their ancient migratory paths disrupted by two different species of human hunters. Competition for resources is fierce, and you are losing. Their projectile weapons allow them to hunt more efficiently from a distance, while your people must still rely on the high-risk close-quarters ambush. Their numbers are growing, their camps sprawling and numerous. Your own numbers are dwindling. You have not seen another clan of your own kind in many winters. You are a lonely island of existence in a rising tide of the new. The reasons for your decline are complex, a puzzle your successors will debate for centuries. Was it a great war? Unlikely. Direct evidence for conflict is incredibly rare. Was it a new disease they brought from Africa that your immune system had no defense against? Perhaps. But the most likely answer is the most mundane and the most brutal. You were simply outcompeted. They were more adaptable. Their social networks were larger, and they had a slightly higher birth rate. Over thousands of years, these small advantages added up to a slow, inevitable replacement. You are not being wiped out in a war. You are simply being made obsolete. There was a deeper problem too, a weakness in your lineage that you could not have known about. Genetic analysis of your kin's bones will reveal that your species had very low genetic diversity for thousands of years before the newcomers ever arrived. Your population was already small and fragmented. You were in essence an endangered species running on fumes when a newer, more efficient model of human showed up. You look at the members of your small final clan, a handful of brothers, sisters, and cousins. You are all that is left. You cling to your traditions. You hunt the ibex on the cliffs and forage for mussels on the shore. You sit by your fire and nap your familiar Mousterian tools, even as you sometimes find the newcomers, long, slender blades washed up on the beach. One day you follow one of them at a distance and peer into one of their caves. The walls are covered in breathtaking paintings of horses and bison. Your own people made symbols, hand stencils, simple engravings, eagle talon necklaces, but this is something else entirely. It is beautiful, and it is also profoundly alienating. They are not just better at surviving than you, they are better at this too. It feels like salt in a wound you didn't know you had. You retreat back to your own cave at Gorham's Point, a final refuge for a dying people. You look out at the setting sun over the great expanse of water. You are a Neanderthal. You are strong, you are intelligent, and you are a survivor. But you are also the past. The future belongs to the tall, skinny people with their strange art and their long-distance weapons. Your long, lonely, and successful reign is over. The silence of extinction is gathering in the twilight. The long twilight of your Neanderthal cousins has faded into a final silent night. Your kind, Homo sapiens, now stands alone as the sole surviving branch of the human family tree. You have spread across Europe and Asia, your numbers growing, your culture diversifying. But there is one last great frontier to conquer, a final new world. Standing on the far northeastern edge of Siberia, you look out at a landscape that is both a barrier and a bridge. Welcome to Beringia, the largest, coldest, windiest, and most treeless place on Earth. This is the Ice Age at its most extreme. The great ice sheets to the south have locked up so much of the world's water that the sea level has dropped dramatically, exposing a vast subcontinent-sized land bridge connecting Asia to the Americas. It is not a lush, inviting corridor. It is the Mammoth Steppe, a dry, frozen tundra, blasted by relentless winds and plunged into months of darkness during the winter. Yet it is teeming with life. Immense herds of woolly mammoth, steppe bison, ancient horses and caribou thrive on the hardy grasses, a moving feast for any hunter clever and tough enough to survive here. Your people are those hunters. Clad in expertly tailored multi-layered furs, stitched with fine bone needles, you are masters of this unforgiving environment. Your entire existence revolves around the movements of the great herds. You hunt with your sophisticated toolkit of stone blades and bone points, and your ultimate weapon, the atlatl, allows you to take down a 40-pound bison from a safe distance. You live in semi-subterranean pit houses insulated with mammoth bones, and hides your hearth fires a constant, vital defense against the lethal cold. Genetic evidence will one day suggest that your ancestors did not just rush across this land bridge. They may have lived here in a state of relative isolation for several thousand years. This Beringian standstill was a unique chapter in the human story, a time when your people were forged into ultimate cold weather specialists, a small population waiting in the world's largest, coldest waiting room for the path forward to open up. The path forward is the source of great debate. To the south, your way is blocked by two colossal ice sheets, the Cordilleran and the Laurentide, which stretch across the North American continent like a frozen, impassable wall. The great question for future scientists will be, how did you get past them? Did you wait for millennia until the climate warmed just enough for a narrow, treacherous, ice-free corridor to open up between them? Or did you bypass the ice entirely, using your coastal skills to build simple boats and navigate the frigid Pacific coastline, hopping from one unfrozen island of refuge to the next? From your perspective, all you know is that the ice is a barrier, but your people are pushing south. You are part of a group that follows a new promising lead. As you move into the heart of this new continent, you find a hunter's paradise. The animals here have never seen a clever two-legged predator like you before. They are large, numerous, and naive. You refine your toolkit, creating a new kind of projectile point, a beautifully fluted spearhead that is both a deadly weapon and a work of art. These Clovis points, named for the site in New Mexico where they will first be discovered, will one day be found scattered all across North America, the calling card of your people. Hunting a woolly mammoth is the ultimate test of your clan's skill and courage. It requires immense planning, coordination, and a deep understanding of the animal's behavior. You work as a team, using the landscape to your advantage, perhaps driving a young mammoth into a trap or cornering it with a ring of fire and hunters. The payoff is a literal ton of meat, fat, and ivory, enough to sustain your clan for an entire season and provide a lifetime of stories. The risk, of course, is that the investment might step on you. You stand on a bluff, your spear thrower in hand, and look out over a valley filled with herds of animals that have no name in your language yet. You have conquered the ice. You have crossed the bridge. You are the first people in a truly new world, and its vast, untouched wilderness lies open before you. The great continental ice sheets that once smothered the northern world are in their final gasping retreat. The climate of the planet is shifting, warming, stabilizing. The vast herds of mammoth and steppe bison that sustained your hunting ancestors are dwindling, their cold world vanishing. Your people, a clan of Homo sapiens, in the region that will one day be called the Fertile Crescent, are facing a new world with new rules. The old ways are becoming harder. The great hunts are less frequent, the game more scarce. But your uniquely creative mind, the same mind that crossed oceans and conquered continents, is noticing something new, a quiet opportunity that has been there all along. You have become less nomadic. Your clan has settled in a place of abundance, a river valley lush with wild gazelle fish, and most importantly, vast fields of wild grasses, ancestral forms of wheat and barley. You live here for most of the year in a small village of sturdy, semi-subterranean stone huts, just like the ones your people, the Natufians, built at sites like Ain Malaha. You've mostly stopped wandering. You live in a stone hut. It's humanity's first experiment with home ownership, and you're already worried about the property values. You still hunt and gather, but the rhythm of your life is now tied to the rhythm of these wild grains. You learn to harvest them using flint blades set into bone handles to create the first sickles. You gather the grains in woven baskets and use stone grinding slabs, mortars, and pestles to pound the hard kernels into a coarse, gritty flour. Your diet is now increasingly made up of a boring but reliable porridge. You miss the days of mammoth steak, but you have to admit porridge rarely tries to step on you and run away. This new sedentary life allows for other innovations. In the quiet moments, you are forming a new and powerful alliance. You have adopted the pups of the gray wolves that scavenge at the edge of your settlement. Over generations, you have tamed them, nurtured them. The dog is now your companion, your alarm system, your hunting partner. It is the first and most enduring animal partnership your species will ever make, a bond forged not for food, but for companionship and mutual aid. Then comes the great discovery. It is not a sudden flash of insight, but a slow dawning realization. You notice that where grains are spilled near your camp, new grasses sprout the next season. You see that if you clear a patch of competing weeds, the wild wheat grows thicker and taller. An idea begins to form. Instead of just gathering what the world provides, what if you could encourage it? You take a handful of seeds from your stored supply and deliberately scratch them into a patch of cleared earth near the river. You have just performed the first act of intentional cultivation. You figured out that if you put seeds in the ground, more plants grow. It's a revolutionary idea that will lead to city civilization and eventually a deep-seated anxiety about whether you've watered the houseplants. This is the very beginning of the agricultural revolution, a change in human history so profound that its consequences will dwarf everything that came before. But was it a brilliant invention that made life better? Or was it, as some future thinkers will argue, a trap? A response to a growing population and dwindling big game that forced you into a life of harder labor, a less diverse diet, and a host of new diseases that come with crowded permanent settlements. From your perspective, it is simply a promising solution to the problem of an unreliable hunt. You are trading the thrill and freedom of the chase for the security of a predictable harvest. You stand by your small experimental garden, a tiny patch of manipulated earth. It doesn't look like much, but it is the seed of a new world. A world of fields and fences, of villages and cities, of surplus and property. The long, wild, and free chapter of your species' existence as a nomadic hunter-gatherer is drawing to a close. The age of the farmer is about to begin. You stand on a ridge overlooking a river valley, a landscape that has been the hunting ground of your people for generations beyond counting. But something new has taken root in the valley below. A village, a permanent, sprawling collection of interconnected mud brick houses, home to the strange new kind of people who have tethered themselves to the soil. You are a hunter-gatherer, your entire existence and that of every ancestor you have ever had, stretching back 3 million years to a small bipedal ape in Africa, has been defined by movement, by the seasonal rhythm of the chase, by a deep and intimate knowledge of a vast and open world. You are now a relic, a ghost from a dying era, looking down at the dawn of the new age. You watch the farmers. Their lives are bizarre. They spend their days not tracking game, but hunched over tending to their neat little rows of grain. Their whole life revolves around convincing specific grasses to grow in one place. It takes all year, and it looks like incredibly boring, backbreaking work. You prefer your own system where the food walks around, and you just have to be clever and quick enough to catch it. You see them penned in by their own fields, their world shrunk to the size of a single valley. Your world is the horizon itself. You have seen their strange village up close. It is a place like Çatalhöyük, a proto-city in what will be Turkey. It is a hive of mud brick houses all crammed together with no streets or alleyways. To get home, they climb a ladder and go in through a hole in the roof. It seems like a massive fire hazard to you, but it is their solution to the problem of defense and community in a now crowded world. You have seen the people themselves and you notice they are smaller than your people. Their bones are less robust and a weariness often hangs about them. The irony, which you can feel but not articulate, is that these early farmers often have poorer health than you do. Their monotonous diet of grain lacks the rich variety of your hunter-gatherer menu, and the crowded permanent settlements are a breeding ground for diseases. Your people had grand constructions too, but of a different sort. The great debate of the future will be which came first, agriculture or organized religion. The discovery of Göbekli Tepe, a massive temple complex of carved stone pillars built by hunter-gatherers thousands of years before the first farms, will prove that your primitive way of life was capable of immense social and spiritual projects. You do not need to be tied to the land to have a deep connection to the cosmos. You look down at the farmer's village, at their fields, their domesticated goats, their strange crowded lives. You see the future. You see a world of walls and property, of surplus and scarcity, of kings and armies. You see a world where the wild places will shrink and the great beasts will vanish forever. You see a world that will have no room left for people like you, people who live by the ancient covenant of the hunt and the rhythm of the open land. You do not feel anger or sadness. You feel a great quiet sense of distance. Your world and theirs are now two separate streams flowing in different directions. You turn away from the village and walk back into the hills, back into the vast silent wilderness that is still your home. You carry within you the memory of it all, the first clumsy steps on 2 feet, the first sharp stone, the first captured fire, the first art, the first song, the first time you looked at another kind of human across a valley. You are the culmination of a 3 million-year-long story. You are walking into the sunset of the Paleolithic, the end of the longest chapter in the human saga. It was a good run. And so our journey through the immense, sprawling story of our own becoming comes to a close. We have walked with our ancestors from their first uncertain steps away from the forest canopy to their final confident strides across frozen continents. We have felt the thrill of the first successful hunt, the comfort of the first controlled fire, the sorrow of the last of a kind, and the quiet dawn of a new world built on a single cultivated seed. The narrative of human evolution is not a simple linear march of progress. It is a tangled branching tree of near misses, dead ends, and miraculous survivals. As you now return from that deep distant past to the comfort of your own time, let the details of the journey soften and blur. Let the hard edges of survival give way to a sense of profound connection, a recognition of the unbroken chain that links you to that first brave hominin who dared to stand upright and walk toward an unknown horizon. The story is now a part of you. The ancient fire is still within us. If you found this journey through human evolution as fascinating as we did, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We're constantly exploring the incredible story of our past, and your support helps us bring more of these captivating insights to you. Don't miss out on future discoveries. Join our community today. Good night.